Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of 100 Yards of Football. This is our NFL preseason preview show. This is week number 2, along with Brian LeBel. I'm Harper LeBel, and Brian, we start with, is there anything in particular that happened between week 1 and week 2 that captured your attention? There are some things that didn't happen, but we thought might, and then there are other things that actually did. So give me your first impression of where we are currently right now with the preseason. More than halfway over. We got one more game remaining.
Well, Joe Flacco being named the starting quarterback in Cleveland is a huge surprise, but a lot of people were wondering if maybe Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel or someone else could come in and kind of take the role over, at least kind of hint at being maybe the next in line if something goes wrong, or if they start off poorly enough. And then the surprising one was kind of Daniel Jones being named the starter in Indianapolis. Anthony Richardson, we knew coming in was going to be a project, but Indy seems to be in a position where they don't feel comfortable with him still being the starter. I mean, this is year 2, and a lot of it looks kind of like he's not
Is
fully
that
there.
too early for you, Brian? Is it too early to be doing that, or is it timing? They were going to do it anyways. They just decided to do it, maybe even a little bit prematurely. Give me your perspective on that.
I think Cleveland makes more sense. I think Flacco played really well for them last year. So they said, hey, we're just going to build off that. We're going to let our young guys ride the bench. The roster isn't where we want it to be right now. There's no point in sending guys out there to get killed. We think Joe can manage the team a little bit better, be a little more competitive. The Daniel Jones situation is a little surprising because he was brought in kind of as a competition. You know, hey, try to push Anthony Richardson to maybe bring the best out in him. I'm a firm believer that you got to stick with the guy if you're going to start him. And they really haven't done that with Anthony. They kind of tossed him in, brought him back out, tossed him in, brought him back out. I think you got to sink or swim at this point. It's year 2. I think if you believe he could be your starting quarterback, you let him go. And if he can't, then you find that out week 7, week 8, then you move on from there.
Anything in particular regarding holdouts and problems with contracts and long-term extensions, or the end of your rookie deal? What are your thoughts about anything that has moved forward in that respect? I haven't seen much movement, and I don't know if I'm going to.
I mean, nothing more than what we really kind of touched on last week. It'll be like the NBA situation. It's the big 3. It's those 2 guys pictured. It's Micah Parsons, it's Terry McLaurin, and it's Trey Hendrickson. And if you watch the Washington Cincy game last night, the Monday nighter, I mean, the conversation was almost every other play. It seemed like they're talking about Hendrickson, they're talking about Terry, they're talking about what the situation is. But both teams kind of seem to be standing pat where they're at, or both sides, excuse me. Micah and Dallas, they haven't really budged. Terry and Washington haven't budged, and Trey and Cincy haven't really budged. Cincy is probably the team in the worst spot just because their defense. I mean, their starters were out there, and Washington went down the field in 4 plays, so it's 74 yards at 4 plays. Just they look bad off rip, but it's really tough if you're Cincy to pay Burrow what you're paying him, and Higgins what you're paying him, and Jamar Chase what you're paying him, and then to come in and pay Hendrickson what he's worth, which is probably near the ballpark of $30 million a year. That's probably what he's going to be asking for. You got to field the whole roster, right? You got to field 50 plus guys. And it's very, very difficult to do that when you're paying 5 of them $150 million.
Well, tell me why you should budge if you're Jerry Jones, if you're the Commanders, if you're in Cincinnati. Why would general managers or personnel directors and capologists, you've got some guy, a controller, who is managing all that, as well as the team owner. Everybody's involved with this. Why would you want to budge and open the door so that everybody else can do the doggone same thing to you and say, I want more money? Every year that's going to happen. So why? Give me the incentive on why you would do that. Does it make a happier player and a happier team?
I think the issue lies in replacing these guys. I think if you look at the most recent one where I look at where it's kind of catastrophic is AJ Brown in Tennessee, right? They're like, hey, we don't need to pay him all this money. We can go draft the guy. We can trade him. We can get multiple picks, and we can save all this money. And then they end up trading for Treylon Burks. And I don't have the entire chart of what they got in the AJ Brown trade, but they haven't even come close to replacing him. And a lot of it too might be having confidence in your scouting department, and as a GM being able to say, hey, we can go and get a guy. Well, in Parsons and Hendrickson's case, there's only a dozen guys in the league, maybe not even that many, that have that kind of talent and have that kind of impact on the defensive side of the ball. Terry's a little different because there's a lot of really good wide receivers. I think every team has 1 or 2 guys that they feel like, hey, he can go out and he can wreck a game. But definitely on the defensive side of the ball, there's a premium. Cincinnati, though, they've already paid Burrow, they've already paid Chase, they've already backed up the Brinks trucks for these guys. And the Higgins thing kind of set him back a lot because Higgins isn't even their wide receiver one; he's their wide receiver two. So Hendrickson anchors the defense, a very bad one. He's a gigantic band-aid on a gashing wound that is that defense in Cincinnati right now. You can ask any Bengals fan, they'll tell you, hey, he has saved us so many times from, we only gave up 28 points instead of 42 or whatever. He makes a key play on a third down, he gets us off the field. But it's tough to replace these guys. So I think that's kind of why you budge. But also at the same time, some of these guys are a little older in age, like Terry and Trey aren't as young as Parsons because Parsons is still on his initial contract. But it just it becomes a coin flip for a lot of these guys. Do we feel like he can stay productive? Is he worth the money? And how much money do we have available to spend? Which, like in Cincy's case, not a lot. Dallas and Washington a little more so, but they kind of want to keep it that way for contracts later down the road.
Well, that's part of the reason that I asked the question is you've got a situation in front offices everywhere. If you do it for this guy, you're going to do it for the other premier player. In Dallas, for example, Dax may have a great year and he goes, I want more money. Yeah. And then guess what every other player is going to do? CeeDee Lamb, the offensive lineman, they're all going to want to raise. In a world where they're making more money than they ever have in their life, it's not even close to the salary cap. The second year I was in the league was $40 million. Now it's 279, give or take. Yeah. Some teams are spending even more than that. And yet there's guys that are demanding, I'm being treated unfairly. And they have for years. I get it. I'm just saying if you open the floodwaters now, and that's why I think there's this holdout. By the way, you're under contract that none of these guys are looking for a deal. They're looking for a new deal. They're looking for an extension. And I don't want to get hurt. I want financial security. I want to be able to take care of my family. I get it. I'm just saying that it's just a very, very peculiar situation. You agreed to the contract in the first place, and now you want to renegotiate. Well, why did you negotiate it so low in the first place to where you took what you did? There's no perfect answer. I'm just throwing a monkey wrench in it. And there's some great players, as you mentioned, Brian, that we've talked about now for 3 weeks and nothing has happened. Are they practicing full speed, or are they putting a cancer in a locker room that may ruin it for everybody else, even after these guys who might get traded are no longer on that roster?
I do think it sets a precedent. It's because everyone, like you said, everyone else in that locker room is kind of looking. Even if you don't get the deal done, however happens, it's how is that guy getting treated? And am I going to get treated the same way? And I think for Washington's, in their perspective, they got a really young quarterback, a really young leader on that team. So it kind of makes it more difficult on him. You add more stress to a young guy in the team. Like we mentioned, they were very, very good last year. They're projected to be very, very good this year. Puts a lot of unnecessary stress, and it's instead of focusing on football, instead of focusing on getting better and these young guys and bringing new guys in from camp and how well some of these young players they have are kind of looking in the preseason. This is like I said last night, that was the whole talk. It's not how the starters are looking. It's not how this is going. It's not how these camp battles are going. It's hey, are these guys going to get paid, and are they going to be suiting up week one?
Well, let's talk a little bit about it. You watched the game last night. Joe Burrow played, got hit a couple of times too.
Yeah.
They had some guys that looked pretty good. You got a few players in particular. I want to say Mitchell Tinsley had a great game, 5 receptions, had about 73 yards, 2 touchdowns for a kid that was on the Commander roster last year, only suited up for 2 games, and he looked great. Give me the ball. I'll go up and get the 50-50 ball. That has to make Joe Burrow happy if he has someone else that he can throw to if there's a double coverage for, the stars that are on that team. But Burrow played. Jaden Daniels played a little bit. There are some starters around the league that are getting some playing time and given the opportunity to get a little bit sharper. What did you visualize last night that made you feel good about either of the Commanders or the Bengals when it came to how they played yesterday?
I don't think Burrow and Chase ever miss a beat. The timing, everything that they do, it's so crisp every time they touch the field. It really is. I can see why you pay those guys. I can see why you keep them in house. I mean, the potential they have an offense to carry a team is massive. Washington, I mean, it was more, they just went right up and down the field. They looked like they didn't miss a beat from last season. Sam Hartman looked decent at time. He made a couple of nice throws. He was kind of mad though. I know there's Ja'Cory Krosky
Is
Barrett's the guy.
Washington's offensive line impressive right now? You mentioned they just pushed it right down the big gain, 17,
Not a
20.
lot of starters, but yeah, I mean they look good. But again, you're going up against the Bengals twos, which again the defense isn't very good. It's kind of hard to, it's a tough measuring stick. Now some of the guys played really well in the second half. The first possession out, Washington kind of went down the field pretty easily. It was one of those methodical drives. We'll take 5-6 yards here, nothing too crazy, but they were able to hold the red zone, which is always good. If you can keep a team at 12, I think it was a 12-play drive, and you only hold them with 3 points. That's good. So it's stuff to build on. But again, we talked about it last week. A lot of the points being scored. You said last week a team scoring 30+ points. There wasn't nearly as much this week. So the defense is kind of caught up. They got on film and said, "Hey, here's what we're doing right. Here's what we're doing wrong." The Bengals defense was no really exception. The offense looked really good. I got to give them credit. But again, it's preseason. Guys coming in, getting their reps, trying to stay loose, and going from there.
Yeah, I mentioned last week, after week 1, there were 8 games that had at least one of the 2 teams score 30 points or more. This past week, there were 4.
Yeah.
And last week, I said there were 3 teams that had between 26, 27, 28, 29 points. This past week, there was 1. So I think defenses are catching up as they should. Yeah. Also, this is really a chance. You're going to give your starters some time, but not much. They don't really want to see them. You got to see your second and maybe your third guys to see what they can do, whether they're going to make the team. And that's critical for this week. And I think this coming week as well, it'll be, this is my last chance to see these guys. Normally, you would say your starters don't even have to dress. They can wear sweats.
Yeah.
There are some teams that demand that you wear your uniform for the entirety of the game. I get it. But I don't believe that you're going to see many starters. And here in Atlanta, it's not only the starters you're not going to see. You're not going to see any of the plays. They're going to throw 32 dive at you 4 or 5 times. I don't know about that. I'm not questioning any specific team. I want to see some of my plays. And if I run a trick play, especially that I know I'm not going to run throughout the year, I'll practice it. I'll see how it looks, and I'll make some of my other opponents in the first 3 or 4 ball games of the year. They're going to look at these films. They'll have to practice for it.
Think about it.
I'm not going to run it, so I'm just faking them out.
Yeah. I don't know. Preseason's weird. Everybody does it differently. Some teams we're going to play our starters half of one game. Some teams say we're going to get them a drive in every single game. Some teams are saying we're not going to play them at all. It's just, it's coach's preference. I don't know if there's one exact way to do it. But that's just how they operate. It's just how things go.
Well, speaking about getting a chance to play, he's going to practice now, and that's Matthew Stafford. Give me your thoughts about Matthew. I remember he threw, 10 days ago on a Saturday. Sunday was going to be off. He didn't practice Monday. Even I'm going, oh, my gosh, what are we going to do? Matthew Stafford, the Rams don't have a quarterback now. I was wrong. I took the bait. The press is reeling me in. They're exactly where they want to be. He's a 38-year-old guy, and he's been in enough training camps to where they don't have to worry about anything. They're going to give him 2 weeks before the first game, and guess what? This week is the 2 weeks before. He's going to practice hard with the team, get sore, have an off week, technically, to get ready for the season, and then the preparation week for the September 3rd openers.
Yeah, and honestly, I think maybe Rams fans, even if he wasn't ready week 1, we're feeling a little more relieved because Stetson Bennett actually looked really, really good this week. Led a game-winning drive. I mean, he played the full game. It was a full 40 passes. I mean, I think it was 28 to 40. Pretty good completion percentage. He played really well.
He had 348 yards.
Yeah, no, he played pretty. He was slinging it around. He played really, really well.
Now, some people may criticize Brian and go, "Hey, he's just playing against us." But you know what? I know other guys that are doing the same thing, and they're not throwing for 348 yards. He had a stellar game. Good for him, even if he doesn't make the Rams, and I know he will. Someone's going to see that and go, dang, this guy can play. I'd love to have him on my team.
One thing you got to give him credit for, even at Georgia, he's a competitor, right? Stetson Bennett loves to go out and compete. Any chance he gets to go out and play football, he's going to take full advantage of it. And he did that, and I think that might have been kind of a warning sign in regards to Stafford, too, if they're willing to throw Stetson Bennett out there, who's number 2 on the depth chart right now. if they're willing to throw him out there and drop back 40 times, maybe Stafford is okay. maybe they're not really too worried about his week 1 status, because if anything happened to Stetson, then you're scraping the bottom of the barrel of the roster, maybe someone else's practice squad.
Well, here's another thing too. Just throw this out there: the coaches, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback coach, maybe the receivers coach are all going, can we watch him in live action? Take some real bullets with a second team offensive line, or maybe a third team, and see what he can do.
He really only made one mistake too. He had the interception but other than that, he looked really well. I mean, he shook it off. He led a game-winning drive. I mean, they went right down the field. He made some really good throws. But I think any Rams fan will tell you, hey, that's great. That's awesome. We love it. Stetson looked great, and having that guy on our roster makes us feel more comfortable. But number 9, or Matthew Stafford coming back is we're definitely very happy for that, because a lot of people, I mean, again, like we were talking about his status for week 1, is he going to be ready? He's not even throwing. He had a pitch count, which usually is pretty bad as far as a quarterback. He was supposed to practice, and they delayed it again, which means, he either re-aggravated something or something goes wrong. You just never, maybe he felt sick that morning. It doesn't really matter, but it's a good sign to see him back. Rams are feeling a lot better than they were last time we did this show. So that's, hey, it's good for them.
I saw a video. You know how the press can be out on the field and in the building on the inside in the practice for maybe the first 10 minutes. I think they stretch. They may have little warm-ups. And then when a horn blows for something serious to happen, they have to shut the cameras off and the mics off. They don't want anybody. And so during that time where it was open, Stafford comes out. He's probably one of the first or second guy out there on the field. And it almost looked like it was the first day of camp from 4 weeks ago. Yeah. That was my impression. So it reaffirmed to me, this is a scheduled performance. Everything is on pace the way it's supposed to. Now, if he has a couple of sore practices, guess what? You're going to. This is his first couple of days. All the other guys have been through that. They're going, fresh legs, fresh arm. But in 10 days right now, he will have gotten through his soreness. He'll got through it. Gosh, my arm is killing me. I got to ice it. My back is a little, and then he's going to build from there. And again, September is just a couple of weeks away, and he'll be ready for it. Yeah. And if he's not, if he needs 1 more week or 2 more weeks, Stetson looked good enough to where I'm very impressed.
A lot of teams offensively going to be behind too, because a lot of starters are sitting. That's just how it is. A lot of teams are going to look very, very rusty. So if Stetson can give you a game or 2 and then wait till Stafford's 100%, which I think Stafford's fine right now, but if that happens, you feel pretty confident. Like, hey, he did it the preseason. At least he's loose. We're good enough. I feel like our offensive line, our defense, let's just manage the game. Don't lose it. Give us a chance. Maybe you got to make 3, 4, 5 crucial throws, but get us in field goal range. Let the run game work, play action, stuff like that. I mean, it's simple stuff, but he showed that he could do it. I mean, he may have been against 2s and 3s, but he showed he could do it. So, like I said, the Rams, you got to feel pretty good about your quarterback situation, even going forward.
Patriots are 2-0. So are the Ravens and the Browns. The Broncos are 2-0. The the LA Chargers. I said the Clippers. I'm okay. They're 2-1.
Yeah.
In the NFC, the Giants are 2-0. The Bears are 1-0-1 in a very tough division. Tampa's 2-0, and the Rams, they're 2-0. Those are the only undefeated teams right now. It doesn't matter. I'm the first to say that the preseason, it doesn't matter. It's important, but it doesn't matter because the 70-yard field goal last week, it doesn't matter. You could throw a 99-yard touchdown and break the record for the stadium where you're playing. Nobody's ever done that before. Doesn't matter. It's preseason, so it doesn't count. But are you impressed? Or are you under impressed with anybody? Is anybody the Chiefs are 0-2? They don't care.
Yeah,
they don't
do the motions.
Exactly.
Yeah. I will say that Jameis Winston looked pretty good. He made a couple throws. Rumor mill that he might get moved if Russell Wilson is named the starter, because I don't need Jameis, I don't need Russell Wilson, I don't need Jackson Dart.
Okay.
Maybe a QB needy team. I don't know. Maybe he goes back to New Orleans. Who knows? But again,
Joshua Dobbs is still out there every year. He's been doing it for 17 years?
Yeah. Him and Josh Johnson are just out there playing football. They love it. This is their playoffs right here, right? For a lot of guys, this is August is their Super Bowl. So,
anything coming up this week that other than seeing whether we've got signings or I don't think it's going to happen until maybe just a day or two before the season starts. But Friday we got Tennessee. I'm sorry, this was last week. I pulled up the schedule and I got the wrong one. But Pittsburgh and Carolina, New England at New York Giants. That's on Thursday. Friday there's 4 games. Saturday are the rest, and then we're done. I think it's good that they did this. I think last week was a broadcasting network based. Let's get all our guys. Let's give them live bullets to play. Let's see how the producer gets along with the crew and how the engineer and the sound guys are all doing. That was last week, but this week it's all, let's get this preseason over. The last game is at 10 o'clock Eastern between Vegas. The Raiders go to Arizona to play the Cardinals. That's the last start time. And then the preseason is over for this year. Week 1 begins on September 4th. Anything from a scheduling standpoint. We saw a lot of football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday night, last night, all kinds of different games. Because there were no college games, you got all kinds of Saturday games taking place. Your thoughts about that?
It's good to have football on almost every day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Mondays if you're a football fan, it's a treat. So the Monday night stuff was, I guess, just get the cobwebs off for Joe and Troy and everybody at ESPN. Because they're gonna have to do it for real here shortly. The main takeaway right now is, look, we're going to last week. A lot of guys, very few, if any, starters are going to see the field. It's final camp battles. It's get ready to see, hey, this guy versus this guy for final cuts, and then just everybody gets out. The main thing is hoping everybody gets out healthy. So see who you need to see on film, and everyone gets out healthy is the main goal the rest of the way. Yeah, one more week.
Yep, I agree. And then this is the one last week where normally you break camp. In the past, you'd have at least one cut by now. You'd be down to about 65 players from 90. That will come up after the games this weekend. I'm thinking as early as Sunday morning. They call it the Turk. When I got tapped on the shoulder and somebody says, "Hey, coach wants to see you. Bring your playbook." You know what that means.
Yeah.
You had a nice run and it didn't work there.
Good luck elsewhere.
But yep. We wish you Godspeed and
do the best.
As Chuck Knox used to say, get on with your own life's work. That's what that was his polite way of saying, go and get you're out of here. Well, Brian, appreciate it. Good show. We wanted to make sure that we touched on week 2. Probably the most boring part of the NFL season is that in between week 1, hey, I want to see these rookies. In week 3 is like, we can't wait for this. We don't even care about that. We're right in that middle area. So one more show to do in the preseason, and then it's for real. The Bullets are live. But thank you, Brian, for this. Hey, before we go, folks, we're always looking to recruit. We're always looking to find bigger, better, faster, stronger, smarter guys. And if you are looking for the same thing for your business, let ZipRecruiter be the assistance that you need. ZipRecruiter finds amazing candidates for you, and they do it so quickly. You can go to ZipRecruiter.com/audio, AUDIO, to get all the help that you need. Top candidates you can invite to apply, so you can visit with them to find out what they have, the qualities, not just a resume, but what they have that matches up with what you need. Let ZipRecruiter be the one for you. Stop and ditch the other guys. Don't use them. Let ZipRecruiter find what you're looking for, the needle in the haystack. 4 out of 5 employers who use ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. You can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio, AUDIO. That's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter is the smartest way to hire. So thank you, Brian. Appreciate you being a part of the show. This has been another episode of the NFL preseason preview number 2. And with Brian LeBel, I'm Harper LeBel. We want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your